Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 206. Thank you for joining us as always on this discombobulated Thursday evening, Earth Day, January 14th, 2021. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me as always is my co-host, Brandon Full. And say hello, Brandon. It stuttered a little.
Hello, Remington. How are
Hello.
you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. This is my new voice for podcasting.
That would get tired real fast.
You think so?
I do.
And in other news, my pants are off.
That's the pluses of COVID. You can just go around with your pants off when you're doing important things.
Yeah, everywhere you go, no pants.
Like making a subpar podcast.
Pantsless.
Pantsless.
Who's subpar? Who's subpar? I think we're great. We're up to 55 subscribers.
Ooh. On what?
Podcast Addict, so through iTunes.
Okay. Well, Podcast Addict is...
It just pulls through iTunes.
Well, yeah, they all do, but I mean, I think they have their own... Like, it pulls the RSS from iTunes, which pulls their RSS from Libsyn, because that's who actually hosts us.
Okay.
So I'm going to figure Podcast Addict probably has its own, like, follow metrics.
So we have 55 subscribers just on Podcast Addict.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but hell yeah, welcome. I'm recording from home. Obviously, we're recording in two separate places.
Yeah.
And I'm at my new computer desk I got for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in my computer chair.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using a new microphone. So all of this amazing stuff is set up. But because of that, you may pick up some sound of me shifting in my chair. So if you hear some weird noises in the background, listeners, that's why.
Yeah.
My microphone is positioned in a strange spot. If you know what I mean.
I do. I have an arm that I can bring over that'll help out with that, because it comes off, doesn't it?
No, it does not look like it does.
I'll make it come off.
I'd prefer that you didn't.
With love and genius, because that's who I am.
And screwdrivers.
And mostly screwdrivers, because I'm not really a genius.
Yeah, but there's love and genius in there too.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Love, genius, and screwdrivers.
So this is the second time we've recorded in about a week.
Yeah.
How has anything changed? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Nothing has changed. I'm giving my microphone the thumbs up, like I'm actually talking to you for some reason.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm giving
that's
it the double thumbs up.
Yeah. So nothing has changed then in this week at all. You're just bebopping along.
Just bebopping along. I've been playing modded Minecraft again. I got back into it.
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of mods are you running?
I'm running a mod pack called Valhelsia 3, which has, I think, 180 mods on it.
Yeah.
So it works about half the time I can actually load my game. The other half of the time it just crashes to desktop. So it's running exactly how a modded game should run.
If I'm getting 50% of my gaming in, then I'm doing a good job.
Once it actually loads into the game, it runs fine. So
yeah, that's
it's
good.
just actually getting it to load is the issue.
So some kind of registry hang-ups or some other bullshit.
Yeah, it has one of my favorite mods though called Blood Magic, and I think for the astute podcast listeners, I've talked about Blood Magic years ago when I was playing modded Minecraft before. But you basically create an altar and a sacrificial dagger, and you cut yourself with it. Like you take damage, but it fills the altar with blood, and then you use the blood to like summon creatures and make runes and stuff. It's really cool.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it's super in depth, but I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yep. That's about all I've been up to.
Mods for games like that are just super interesting because you can do all sorts of, things that Like blood magic. You wouldn't expect that to be in Minecraft because it's really kind of geared toward very casual or kid-friendly play, you know?
Don't say kids.
Children or little kids.
Minecraft is a baby game.
You're playing a baby game with your baby blocks.
I can't even argue.
I watched it had to have been some kind of mod. I know next to nothing about the mods for Minecraft, but I watched a fella and a couple of his friends launch a black hole. And they're like, okay, we're going to launch the black hole, and then we're just going to try and run away from it as long as possible. And it was interesting. I mean, the black hole was really just I don't know, it looked like gravity blocks or something. They were just black blocks that apparently, and it just kept growing and growing and sucking in the world to an infinite point, it seemed like.
Yeah.
It was really neat to watch.
How's that for a baby game, Remington?
Yeah, how's that? You know, being swallowed by an entire black hole.
The way we're all going to go out.
Yeah. No, we'll all go out way before that from other reasons. But eventually the Earth will be swallowed by the sun and then subsequently by a black hole, I'm sure.
Yeah, that'll happen. And I'm perfectly okay with it.
Me too, because I'll be dead
because we won't be there.
Many billions of years after that.
So what have you been up to? Anything exciting?
Not a whole lot. Just work, and went to the doctor for the first time in like 7 years.
How was that?
It was fine. I got a new doctor. The old one had released me, so it was basically just hey, I'm Rem. Nice to meet you. You're my doctor now. Let's talk about some things, and we'll just make a plan. A health plan.
So is it like an extensive health plan?
No. Just next time I go, we scheduled a wellness visit, and I'll do blood work and stuff, and he'll tell me about my cholesterol and my other bits and bobs that I might need to know about.
Your butthole?
My butthole. They're going to check my butthole. I'm getting to the age, I'm 37. I should be doing frequent physicals and stuff like that,
Yeah.
That's just something that needs to be done to make sure that I don't get colon cancer and lose half my colon, right?
Yeah. I don't know the last time I've been to a general practitioner. I really need to make an appointment to see one also.
Yeah. I think you're supposed to do a physical once a year, aren't you?
Probably, yeah.
And then I think they recommend that when you hit your 30s, at least, is when you really want to 30, 35, something like that. Maybe it's 40s. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've had that discussion.
I just don't like the doctor. Doctors freak me out. But I mean, I don't know people who really like the doctor.
I mean, I don't dislike the doctor. I don't dislike going to the doctor. The only reason I don't go to the doctor is because I didn't have insurance for a long time.
Yeah.
But doctors inherently should not be scary. And I understand that there's fear of finding out something that could be bad news, but most of the time people are pretty healthy. But the only way you're going to catch things that could be bad news early is by doing proper health maintenance.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's how I view doctors. Like if I would have had insurance for these past, 10 years or so, I would be going to the doctor regularly because I want to be able to catch those things. If I get some kind of, we live in the mid-Ohio Valley, cancer runs rampant through us.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, we're lousy with cancer cells, but many cancers are treatable. Cancer isn't the big bad word that it used to be until it gets to a point where nobody has caught it because you haven't been going to the doctor, and then all of a sudden you're, coughing up blood because you have lung cancer, and you're like, well, if we would have caught that, 2 years ago, you'd be fine. Now you're on the verge of death.
Wow, you're cheery as shit today.
Well, it's just I know a lot of people that are afraid to go to the doctor, even when there's something actually wrong with them and they should. And it befuddles me.
It gets you all discombobulated.
It does. It discombobulates me. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to be able to at least go back to the doctor for basic health and maintenance and keeping myself healthy. I'm not afraid of dying. but I don't want to.
That's a good way to put it. I'm terrified of dying. I think we've mentioned it before, probably. And if we haven't, I'm sure that the listeners can pick up knowing how paranoid I am about everything.
Right.
Death frightens me, and I don't like it.
I believe you have. See, all the more reason for you to go to the doctor frequently.
Yeah, you're right. I have insurance, too, so I totally should.
Yeah, for sure.
That settles it. I'll make an appointment with a GP.
There you go. Good man. You're a good Sheila Bruce and not at all stuck up.
Right. So, yeah, we haven't been doing anything very interesting at all, have we?
Not for this past week, no. We'll just get right into stories. Fuck it.
Yeah, dive right in. Just sink our fucking teeth right into them. Just nom 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 nom.
Start us off,
so
Brandon.
You want to go first?
No, you do it.
Go first?
You do it. I don't want it.
There's a new Danish children's show called John Dillerman that is causing a bit of a controversy.
Okay.
Dillerman is Danish and it translates to penis man. So his name translates to John Penis Man. And he has the world's longest penis.
What?
He has the world's longest penis, and that's the premise for the show. He uses his penis to get into trouble, but he also uses it to save children. Like in the first episode, he uses it as a whip to chase a lion away that is trying to attack children.
Is there footage of this?
Yeah, you can watch the episodes. I didn't watch them, but you can look up, just Google John Dillerman image, and I'm sure you'll find it. It's like a claymation cartoon, it looks like.
I am totally going to watch a quick shot of this. Hold on.
Okay.
So I just watched a news report from I-24 News. So if you Google John Dillermand, Dillermand, how you spell it. One of the first things that popped up was a minute report from I-24 News talking about it, and he's wearing, it's almost like one of those full body swimsuits, and it's got
like a strongman outfit.
Yeah, like a strongman outfit. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it looks more like a strongman. And when his penis protrudes, it's also covered in the outfit.
Yeah.
So it's like Ant-Man's suit that just stretches when it needs to, right?
That's the real story, is where he got that suit from.
Yeah, right? Like, who's designing this fucking clothing for this man with prehensile genitalia? And the comments from the newscaster said that it has actually been received pretty well in Denmark, and it's not really gross in any way, except for the fact that it's the dude's dog, right?
Yeah, it's made by public broadcaster DR Ramsjang, and it's co-developed by Sex and Sam Fund, a Danish association for sex education.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that is a bit of a disconnect between cultures, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the U.S. is still very, very uptight about sex.
Oh yeah, very much so.
And there are a lot of countries that just aren't nearly as uptight as we are about it.
So you don't think it's inappropriate for a child to watch a man with a gigantic penis wrestle a lion?
The penis is covered.
That should be on your tombstone.
The penis is covered. Here lies Remington Hitchcock. The penis is covered.
You would have people making grave rubbings constantly.
That's fine. They can rub my covered penis all they want. I'm already dead. What do I care? But yeah, I think that it's funny to us, and it's a weird concept. But again, that kind of goes back to just cultural difference. I feel like that's how they're choosing to teach kids about anatomy, and it's lighthearted, and it looks like it's fun and funny. And if there's any truth to anything, it's that his penis gets him into trouble sometimes, and that's true for any man in real life.
Mm-hmm. I know my penis has got me into many a scrape.
And it's gotten me out
of many scrapes.
That's what I was going to say. Gotten me out of many more.
See, I was thinking about, because I have a daughter and she is 13, I was thinking about whether I would be okay with her watching this as a kid, like when she was younger. Now I think she would laugh at it because she's at that age. But when she was younger, like, I feel like I would. She would laugh at it, but in a different way because it's silly. This man has a giant genital.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's part of being a parent is allowing, in my mind, of course, I don't have a kid, of course, but this is how I would raise mine, is number one, children are way more intelligent than we consistently give them credit for. Like, there are children in other countries who are 4 or 5 years old that are prepping dinner for the family by themselves.
Yeah.
In some other countries, or 6 or 7 years old. As long as concepts are taught in an appropriate manner, there's no topic that you can't really make your child privy to. But it's just one of those things, like I said, that has to be done about in the right way. And this includes, teaching kids even at an early age about genitals and or things that are potentially faux pas in other countries. I feel like hardcore shielding them from the realities of life once they become an adult can be potentially detrimental, because when they finally get to a point where they start experimenting themselves, if they don't have a good support system to fall back on when shit goes wrong, then they're going to hide that something, went horribly wrong. Say trying drugs for the first time. Having that conversation when they're young and say, drugs are bad, this is what happens when you do them, etc. and so on. You should really avoid doing them. But you also have to realize as a parent that sooner or later somebody's going to talk them into trying something.
Yeah, exactly. And you just have to hope it's not crack.
Yeah, because human beings are curious by nature, and of course, if we've been told to not do something, we want to try it as a rule. So knowing that if they do something like that they can still come to the parent and say, this is what's happened. Yeah, I'm going to be in trouble for it, but it's going to be a discussion, not a fight.
Yeah.
I think that's the important takeaway from anything that you teach your children. It's like, if you do something wrong, yeah, I'm going to be upset, or, something that could hurt you. Yeah, I'm going to be upset, but we can have that discussion if you did something wrong, and we can move to the next steps of rectifying it if it's something that can be rectified, or if it's, something that needs to be reinforced so that it shouldn't be done again.
So the big question is, if you had a kid, if you had a boy, what would you call his penis?
Oh, I don't know. I have half a dozen different words for the penis. And it just depends on the level of humor that we're going for in the moment, right?
No, I mean, like, if you have a son and you're telling him to make sure to wash it, would you be like, hey, wash your wiener? Or would you say wash your penis?
Probably either or.
Or you'd mix it up, wash your cock?
Well, probably wash your wiener, because that way you're getting the alliteration of it. And that's alliteration is an important learning tool, right? It's memorization. If you say wash your wiener, then not only is it kind of funny, but it's also alliteration, which is easier to remember. So that means that there's a higher chance that he will consistently wash his wiener because he remembers to wash his wiener.
You've run circles around me logically. I asked that question to be funny, and you taught me about alliteration.
And what you can do if you ever have a little boy.
Wash your wiener.
Yep.
Cleanse your cock.
Yeah, see? You got it. But like
I feel like
if he's diddling
cock
around
is not the
with
word you use.
No, probably not. If he's diddling around with it in a grocery store or something, and I'm just like, dude, no, you can't do that. Put your penis away. That's what I would say.
If he's diddling around with it.
Yeah.
Quit diddling with the dick.
Yeah. Quit
Don't
diddling your
diddle
dick and
dick.
put your penis away. See, there's all kinds of alliteration in that.
Yeah, it's perfect. So John Dillermand, I give him 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, just cultural divide. It's definitely funny on this side of the pond.
I don't know what Danish people sound like to do a Danish accent.
No, you should probably avoid it at all costs.
Hello there. Let's watch the cartoon about the Wiener Man, eh, governor? We're Danish.
We're Danish over here.
Look at all of our Danish architecture.
Give me another story. I have precisely nothing to segue off of for that.
I feel like our listeners will agree with me that I absolutely fucking nailed a Danish accent.
Totally, bro. I don't think it could have gone any better than that.
Do you want a tech story or a D&D story?
Whatever.
Okay, I'll just go down the list then and give you a D&D story.
All right.
The next D&D adventure, because they've been putting out those modules,
Yeah,
different books. The next one is called Candlekeep Mysteries, and it's a collection of 17 one-shot adventures. It comes out March 16th.
Are they like level equivalent or something? So you can run through the gamut, or?
No, they're all one-shots. So it's not like you start page 1 at level 1 and you end at level 20.
Yeah.
It's you pick and choose which one you want to run through.
Gotcha. But what I mean, even if it's not in level order, I mean, are they mini stories for different levels?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, from what I've read, but there's not a whole lot of information about it so far. 19 designers worked on it. According to Chris Perkins, each adventure is built on the premise of the characters finding a book.
Okay.
So 17 adventures about magic books. 17 mystery adventures, because each one is a mystery.
It's a mystery for the ages.
And it's also, I said this in the group chat, I don't know if you saw it or not, but it includes D&D's first handicap accessible dungeon.
I did see you share something. I hadn't taken a look at it though. So tell me a little bit about that. We talked about something along those lines a few episodes ago, right?
We talked about the battle wheelchair.
Yeah.
Well, this dungeon is wheelchair accessible, and it's made to be used, like you can use the battle wheelchair with it.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's neat. Wizards is making progress as far as this kind of stuff goes. They've been doing really well the past few years with trying to be more inclusive.
Yeah. I think I've voiced my opinion on the battle wheelchair. Like, you have artificers and stuff that you can just make new limbs for people, or just so. But at the same time, like, I understand wanting to have a character who represents having a disability, I suppose.
Yeah. If you're in a wheelchair in real life as a player and you want to reflect that in your D&D character, it's cool that now you have the ability to.
Yeah, I'm down for that. That's cool.
Yeah, I know that when we talked to our friend, who I won't name, he got all like huffy about it and was like, "Oh, so the evil wizards are just building wheelchair accessible ramps everywhere now?"
I mean,
so that's the other side of the coin. I don't think it's pandering though. I could see a few years ago, I could see this being considered pandering. Like, hey, we build a wheelchair accessible dungeon. Cool. Do you have wheelchairs in the game? Yes.
Right.
Just strap them to a wagon. They'll be fine.
A lot of, like, I don't know. I guess I've always envisioned dungeons in part as caves. And caves don't necessarily have steps anyway.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see, like, terrain rules for that, though.
Here's my question, though. Are you allowed to play a character in a wheelchair, like you, Remington Hitchcock?
I mean, I don't see why I shouldn't be able to.
You don't think that you're appropriating?
I mean, that's an interesting question. I don't know if I have the knowledge to answer that. You know what I mean? But as far as it...
Yeah, I was thinking about it too, and I don't know. I would have to ask somebody in the community, I guess, whether it's
Yeah.
okay. And I feel like you would get a mixed response. I feel like some people would be like, yeah, the more the merrier. And other people would be like, no, this was created for people who have disabilities.
Yeah. But the problem therein lies, it's like, if I have in the past played a female character.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not going to say, because we were playing privately, I'm not going to say that there wasn't some jokes that were made that I was appalled at as a female.
Oh, yeah.
But me playing the opposite sex, does that make it an appropriation of female culture in this particular instance? You know, I wanted to play a female because I wanted the challenge of playing the opposite sex in a world that is still primarily dominated by male players.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot more female players in D&D than there used to be, but for a very long time, it was a game that there were a lot of shitty people who didn't want girls playing in their game.
Yes.
And that's a thing that still happens, which is stupid. I always wanted to have females at the table.
Yeah, the D&D game that I'm running right now would be cool. I don't know. It's so hard. I feel like I'm navigating through rough waters.
This is
all
our
the time.
podcast. Speak candidly.
No, I know. I've been kind of going through a phase lately where I've been deconstructing everything about my life and my beliefs and everything I've held. And I know that sounds super hoity-toity or like whatever, but I've been doing a lot of deconstructing and trying to reconstruct myself as something new or something different.
Right.
And I realized that I have a lot of hangups about this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah?
But like, yeah, not having women play at the table or anything like that, just about what I say. Like, our D&D game right now is kind of a sausage fest, and I would love to have women players. We don't really know anybody who's able to play with us right now as far as a woman goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Do I just want a lady because of the tokenism of having a lady?
I think it honestly kind of boils down to the way you're thinking about it. Like, you can't overcomplicate it. If a girl was to pop in and say, hey, I'd love to play D&D with you guys, are you going to tell her no because you don't want to? No, you're not. You're going to say, yeah, sure, we'd love to have you, because that's the kind of person that you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's not the fact that she is a girl, or even if we had somebody who was trans to pop in and say, hey, I'd love to play with you guys. That's fine, because it has nothing to do with their sex or anything. It's us sharing something that we enjoy with somebody else, and they are willing to come in and play with.
Yeah, that's true. Just having another player.
And the only time you really run into trouble with that is if somebody says something that's a little off color, you know?
Yeah.
And at that point, that gets addressed privately, and then it doesn't happen again.
Which, fortunately, our group has been good about so far.
Yeah. Well,
I think because everybody knows we're recording.
Yeah. I mean, there are always jokes that can be accidentally made just off the cuff, and we have talked about in the past that I do not shy away from racy, raunchy jokes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there is precedent to be said about making a joke that is a real groaner that's on the cusp of being really bad, but as long as there is ample proof enough to say that is not how this person usually thinks, you know?
It's a fine line to walk. It really is.
It is. It most certainly is. And I think people are just so sensitive nowadays, so raw. Those nerves are so raw that a lot of times there is an overreaction when there should just be an adult reaction to it.
Yes.
It's like you say something that's a little, maybe a little offensive, and you clarify, I'm sorry, it was a joke. I didn't mean to offend you that way. Let's move on from that, and it won't happen again. That's the adult conversation to have. It's when somebody starts harping and continues to harp and then starts throwing people under the bus and starts, outing them as some sort of racist or sexist or something to a community when that's not the case. That's when it becomes.
The point, I think, of all of that is that you want to say it won't happen again. Because you can apologize all day, every day.
Yeah.
But if you said something that offends somebody, the best reaction is to just say it won't happen again.
Yeah.
And then try to stick to it.
Yeah. Because that's all you can do.
To a certain degree, there's stuff that I've said that probably offends people that I'm like, whatever.
Right.
But I don't want to offend anybody because of like their sex or their religion. Well, religious beliefs are kind of on the fence for me. But their sex, their sexual orientation, that's the kind of stuff that I don't want to offend somebody about.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried to be better about making these kind of jokes.
Yeah. And now going back to the handicapped or the handicapable or however you want to say it right now.
Yeah.
I think that if I want to challenge myself and put myself in the shoes of somebody who has a disability, I should be allowed to do that because I want to experience the trials and tribulations of that. And that in the long run, even if it's in the confines of a fantasy game, makes me a better person because I have experienced the different problems that they encounter, especially if I have a good DM that takes that into account.
Right. Like I'm considered disabled. I don't get disability, but I'm considered disabled because of my anxieties and my bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
So does that give me more freedom to play a character in a battle wheelchair because I am also considered disabled, or are mental disabilities considered different physical disabilities as far as the communities go?
That I don't know, not being part of those communities. But
yeah, I'm asking you questions I know you don't know the answer to.
Right. But that being said, I mean, again, it goes back to if your current disability doesn't, number one, it doesn't define who you are. Number two, it doesn't define what you should be able to play if you feel the want to. You know, if you want to play somebody with a physical, in fact, physical disabilities happen all the time in D&D anyway. We had a character who had metal arms.
Yeah.
That's literally something that you introduced in this, and he had metal arms, and then he grew his regular arms back. So he ultimately had two sets of arms.
Yeah, he was like Goro. But I saw that, and I think we talked about this before with the wheelchair thing, about the character that was missing a leg in one of the D&D sessions, or one of the D&D campaigns. The official wizards, and they used it as a disability. Like they weren't capable. They used it like they were ashamed of it. They hid it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And that was an issue. So I don't know. I didn't mean to get way into the weeds with this.
But we talked about that. Is that falls down to how the character plays it, or in this case, I think it was an NPC, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an NPC.
Yeah. So if the character traits of the NPC feels that it is, I mean, that's something that people with physical disabilities wrestle with every day. Is the idea that they can't do something, or they're ashamed that they can't do something that they used to be able to, and that has to do with their mental headspace. It has nothing to do with the game itself, or even necessarily the mechanics, except for the fact that, you know, obviously there would have to be some different mechanics. It depends on how, let's say, that NPC becomes a PC, and there is an actual person playing that, and that person has that same disability, right?
Right.
They have a unique perspective on how to overcome negatives that they might be receiving because they don't have an arm or a leg. They can do different things within the scope of the game. And again, it falls down to the dungeon master, because there are rules in D&D, but they're more guidelines. And ultimately, it falls down to the dungeon master to decide on what is best for their party at that time.
Exactly, yeah.
And you can't account for everything that a PC is going to do. You literally can't. They are constantly throwing you for loops and throwing you off the rails to your story and doing something that is completely unexpected. And that's half the fun for a DM, is to deal with the shit that your characters are going to do that you didn't account for.
Yeah, like half of the campaign I've run so far has been you guys doing something I didn't plan for. And I have pages and pages of notes.
Yeah.
I've tried to plan for every contingency, and then you guys are like, hey, let's go find Yellow Jacket, or hey, let's go here, or let's do this. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Again, like I said, it falls down to the DM. So if somebody is playing a disabled character in a way that shows that their disability means nothing in the scope of the rules, they can still do all of the things that they were previously able to do when they had the limb. Then hey, as long as they can explain why they're able to do that and it makes sense, then all the more power to them.
It comes down to representation, I think. Like,
that's good gameplay.
Their complaint about that character is that they were being represented in a game by having a character with a disability. And then that character was ashamed of their disability.
Yep.
I could see it in the same way that like a bipolar character was introduced in D&D and they're just crazy. They're just like, woo, wacky, I'm bipolar.
The best way to counteract that is to introduce another character in that same venue that has a similar disability who is triumphant and empowered by that. That's the answer to that.
So you solved it. You should work for Wizards.
Right.
Get your wizard hat and your robe ready. And
because if you're going to represent somebody with a disability who's ashamed with it, you in the very same vein, you should have somebody else who has a similar disability, like missing an arm instead of a leg, who is proud of the fact that they lost it in the battle, and they have an artificer who builds them a new one, or maybe they cobbled together something that is fantastic, and they're super proud of the work that they did, and they're overcoming it versus being ashamed of it.
See, the real design for that character would be to have them not build an arm.
That'd
be the real representation, to just have them continue without the arm.
Yeah.
And be happy with it.
Yeah. And that or that either one would be fine, because again, it comes back to not the fact that they have a disability, but their mental state about their disability.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So to continue talking about gaming, I guess, but moving on to something maybe a little more lighthearted.
Okay.
Instead of kind of that serious discussion we just had about, handy-capable people in D&D. Rock Paper Shotgun put out an article citing 2.6 million first-time buyers each month last year for Steam.
How many was it?
2.6 million first-time buyers each month.
Wow.
Valve has published their 2020 year-in review for Steam, and it's Imogen Beckhelling is the writer of this article. And I'm a little shocked at how dramatic some of their statistics are. Seeing as we experienced a global pandemic during which everyone locked themselves away in their homes, it may not come as a huge surprise that more people took up gaming to pass the time. Valve says 2.6 million people bought games for the first time on Steam each month, and Steam has had 120.4 million monthly active users to boot.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah. She says, though, they don't mention if these numbers are averages or the actual numbers for each month. So they could be statistical averages, they could be actual numbers for each month. I'm going to err on the side of saying that it's an average. In their blog post, they added that Steam has seen a load of other record-breaking new highs as well, with 62.6 million daily active players, 24.8 million peak concurrent users, 31.3 billion hours of playtime, and and a 21.4% increase in number of games purchased over 2019. As far as sales statistics go, a 21.4% increase is massive.
Yeah, Valve is making money hand over fist. It's crazy.
Yeah. Maybe they'll actually invest that into making their app a little bit better. Steam users.
Do you still use Steam?
Yeah, I still have Steam. In fact, 90% of the games that I have that I haven't even played or from where I've collected them over the years are on Steam.
Yeah.
Steam users' playtime was up by 50.7% compared to 2019 as well. Though, again, it isn't clear if they're talking about average user playtime or playtime of all Steam users combined.
Have you got any cool games on Steam lately? Or the Epic Store?
I try to grab up the free ones whenever I can, but there's a lot. I just have not been playing games. I am not one of the people who played during my. Of course, I didn't really have a quarantine except for when I had COVID.
Yeah.
Even then, I was doing other things like making money doing stream stuff for people. So I am still trying to work on myself and getting myself to a schedule where I can play a little bit of games and maybe stream some. I'm looking forward to the day where I can do that, but until then, the gaming is low on my priority list.
Yeah, understandable. I used over the holidays, Epic gave away 15 free games.
Uh-huh.
So they gave away a game a day. I grabbed every one of them. There was nothing super great on there.
Yeah.
But I collected them. So I have a shit ton of free games on my Epic launcher now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. I just, every time I hear there's a game, a new game, a new free game, I just go download it. Or
this week
I
on
put it
Epic
on my
is
account,
Star
rather.
Wars. It's Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, through Epic.
Epic is
which is not a great game, but
right, but it's a free one, so yeah.
What were you going to say about Epic?
I don't remember. Oh yeah, no, I do. Epic is not the one that I boot up a lot of the times. I'll usually go through because I'm still on Twitch fairly frequently, and of course Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime, you get free games, 3 or 4 of them each month.
Yeah.
So usually I'll have a notification that says, "Hey, these are the free games," and I'll scroll through and I'll add them to my account real quick. But Epic, I don't boot up very often.
I do it straight from the website.
Oh, do you really?
From my phone, yeah. You just, once you log in through your phone, you can go and just click on the free game and add it to your account, and it'll download it or unlock it once you're on your computer.
Is it an app or something? Epic app?
No, just straight through the browser.
Oh. I don't know. If I don't have reminders, that's what usually gets me.
Yeah.
I know there's a free Humble Bundle game right now.
Yeah, I just grabbed it actually. I don't remember what it is. By the time this comes out, it won't be free anymore. There's only 2 days left on it.
Yeah, it's a 48-hour run, so.
Humble Bundle's been really letting me down lately.
Oh, yeah?
They haven't had any good game bundles lately. It's all been like books and software.
Yeah. See, now, from a creator perspective, I snatched up, there was some explosion assets, and that's explosion and smoke and some sound stuff and some music bundles that are DRM free and give you the rights to use in projects. So I snatched up those.
Yeah, I saw that actually, and I meant to message you about it, so I'm glad that you picked it up.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, the more assets that I can add to my collection just means the more stuff that I can do for people in the future. And I can do legally, right? That's the big thing.
So you can actually show it off because you've done it all above board, above the belt. Yeah,
exactly. And I've been working. I haven't touched it in a week or so, but I've been working on a subdomain for Adam Down Media, where I can put up some basic content that streamers can download, and also have a way to get a hold of me to do custom stuff. And
oh, cool.
Yeah, so I've like I said, I haven't touched it in a week or two, but it's definitely something I want to pursue. And just, even if I can create a few really good overlays and that sort of thing for people, that it can just be kind of turnkey and it's a little bit of extra income.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, they can pay the higher dollar to get something a little more customized.
So when are you hoping to have that launch? Do you have any idea, or just at some point?
No, I have no idea. It's something that I have to build out some basic assets. So I'm going to have to do some research on some cool overlays and transitions and stuff that I can just kind of go in, make myself, use some as inspiration and just make it something that is commensurate in cost with other websites that put out that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're making waves.
I'm doing my best. To continue on with that, VR saw a big boost in players last year too, in large part to the release of Half-Life Alyx. VR game sales were up by 71% compared to 2019, with Alyx making up 39% of those sales alone.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I would love to try to play Alyx. My younger
Yeah.
brother has a VR headset, and he has Alyx. I just haven't tried it yet.
Yeah. You were a big fan of Half-Life, weren't you?
Oh, I love the Half-Life series.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Sometimes I get them confused with like the BioShock. Ginger's more into BioShock, I think, than you were, right?
Yeah, I never really got into BioShock.
Sometimes I get you and her confused with which one of those games each of you liked, respectively.
Well, your girlfriend and I are very similar in a lot of ways.
They are. We have all been together for a very long time.
In more ways than one.
Whoa.
Huh? Oh, I'm just spilling secrets all over this podcast.
Speaking of shocking secrets, Chris Evans reportedly in talks to reprise his role as Captain America in the MCU.
I mean, come on.
What?
They wrote him out. They wrote him out perfectly.
They did. And
people just can't get enough of it. Just let the new people come in. I'm going to be the curmudgeonly, angry nerd for a while.
Dude, listen.
Bring in new people.
Chris Evans is beautiful.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with his looks.
It has
or his
everything.
Personality. He's an attractive man.
I want to see him on the silver screen all the time.
I want him to do push-ups into my butt. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, into my butt.
One-handed push-ups right into my butt.
Just off of my hams. From IGN, Chris Evans is reportedly in talks with Marvel Studios to reprise his role as Captain America in the MCU. According to Deadline sources, it's unlikely that Evans would return in a fully fledged Captain America movie, which his contract had run out for, and I think he said that he was going to move on to new things.
Yeah.
With the likelihood being that he'd make a guest appearance in another superhero movie, such as Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark appearance in the Spider-Man Homecoming. Which, I mean, that makes sense. Because it's not...
I mean, it makes sense that he would show up. You're right.
Yeah. Deadline reports that the deal isn't closed, but that it's headed in the direction of Evans returning to the role that he publicly said would be risky to come to. Quote, "It's not a hard no," Evans explained in May last year, "but it's not an eager yes either. I think Cap has such a tricky act to stick the landing, and I think they did a really nice job letting him complete his journey."
Yeah, exactly.
And, I agree with that. It goes on to say, how Cap could return would be an interesting development, given that the last time we saw him in Avengers Endgame, he was a very old man and handed his shield to the Falcon. The likeliest option is that we'd see Cap pop up in a movie set before the current day, made more feasible by the fact that Evans probably wouldn't have to be de-aged, due to his having traveled back in time to live out his days with Peggy Carter. But the very fact that the MCU has begun messing with time travel and, with Doctor Strange 2, seemingly the multiverse, could mean we see him reappear by more fantastical means, perhaps even as an alternate realities version of that character. So, hey, we might see the Nazi version of Captain America.
Or have him play Captain Britain.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that they wrapped up his arc very well. Although, I mean, I don't know. I started this argument all gung-ho against it, and the more I went on, the more I realized I just don't care. Like, if he's back, cool. If he's not, whatever.
Stick to your guns, Brandon. Have some fucking integrity. Be that curmudgeonly nerd.
I was just being argumentative for the sake of being argumentative, I think. Like, my anger swelled up and I was ready to go, and then I just deflated like a balloon.
You're like, well, yeah, I guess they could go back in time or something.
Yeah, sure, bring it back, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Everything doesn't matter and life is fucking meaningless.
Yeah, fuck me, whatever. Speaking of comics, though, Remington.
Uh-huh.
Miles Morales is revisiting the Clone Saga.
Oh, really?
Are you familiar with the Spider-Man Clone Saga from the 90s?
Vaguely, but refresh my memory because I don't remember much of it at all.
Spider-Man found out he was a clone, or Peter Parker found out he was a clone of the original Spider-Man, Ben Reilly.
Okay.
And it nearly bankrupted Marvel, the storyline did, because it was so disliked.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't remember the panning around it or anything. I just remember that it was a thing that happened.
I think it was in the 90s. I'm pretty sure it was. But yeah, Miles Morales is going to revisit the Clone Saga in its own way.
Uh-huh.
In the comic Miles Morales Spider-Man number 25 coming out in April.
Well, I guess if they're going to revisit something that potentially bankrupt them, they had better be careful.
It's written by Saladin Ahmed and art by Carmen Carnero.
I think we live in an interesting and different time when it comes to that sort of thing. Like the world of comics is very different than what it was even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and I don't feel that obviously there are bad decisions that can still be made for sure, but revisiting stuff that may have been a flop, if you get that flop into the hands of somebody who can make it something special, I think is something that you should wholly grab a hold on and take a chance on.
Yeah, apparently this is the writer who has been doing Miles Morales for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Miles Morales is insanely successful as a character.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't think this is the guy that created him, but the Miles Morales comics are pretty popular right now, and he's the writer for those. So
yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure it'll be good. I won't read it. Neither will you.
Nope.
But we'll read stories about it, and if it's bad, we'll talk about it.
It's news for people who still read comics.
Exactly. People who still read comics who already knew this.
To continue on with our less than knowledgeable comic information, a rare Batman comic sells for $2.2 million.
Jesus.
A well-preserved Batman comic from 1940 has come close but not beaten the all-time record set by Action Comics #1. It sold for $2.2 million, beating the previous record for the highest priced Batman comic sold at auction of all time. The near-mint Batman #1 was first published in 1940 and survived those decades with almost unheard-of quality. THR reports that the comic was sold as part of a heritage auction event on comics and comic book art. This Batman comic was published a year after the character's debut in Detective Comics #27. Aside from being the first title issue for Batman, it also introduced iconic characters like the Joker and Catwoman. The comic received a 9.4 on the Certified Guarantee Company scale, the CGC scale.
Wow.
On that scale, a 9.4 is described as a very well-preserved collectible with minor wear and small manufacturing or handling defects. This comic in particular is said to have been preserved so well that its pages are still white.
Jeez.
So for those of you who have never handled an old comic in your life or any old document really, paper tends to degrade over time, and as it does, it develops a yellow hue to it. And this is especially true for comics because a lot of times they're printed on less than stellar quality paper, especially the older ones.
Mm-hmm.
So that discoloration is something to look out for in regards to collectors. But yeah, to have something from the 1940s that still boasts white pages is incredible.
I pulled up the story on New York Post.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to the record sale, the copy was owned by collector Billy T. Gates, who bought the comic in 1979 at a comic store in Houston, Texas for $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
When he died in 2019, he passed the exalted item along to his son.
Yep. Which, accounting for inflation, would be about $11,000 today.
Wow.
Just to put that into perspective.
Okay, so say that you were a millionaire.
Yeah.
Right? What would be the thing that you would blow money on? Like somebody out there is a millionaire who bought this Batman comic because they're a collector.
I don't know, man. I'm not much of a collector. I'm the worst person to ask for that. I would buy something that would make my life easier. I probably wouldn't, or something that was really cool, but I wouldn't add to a collection because I don't really have a collection.
Yeah, not necessarily collection. I just mean in general. Like, would you be buying $10,000 microphones and stands and shit? Would you be buying a lot of sound equipment, mixing boards, stuff like that?
I might upgrade the setup to a degree. I might even pay for this room to be better equipped to handle. Well, probably not this room. I'd probably, if I had that kind of money, I'd buy a new house, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say you're a millionaire and we still have to record in that dingy old room.
Yes, Brandon. Fuck
That
you.
stinky ass closet.
It's not stinky.
It is when I'm in there.
Well, okay, fair. That has less to do with the room itself and more to do with you.
My stink is legendary.
Especially when you take those boots off.
I think I would buy video game systems like we talked about last week.
Right.
I would buy the rare shit.
Yeah,
and display it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can't say for sure. I mean, I would have a very nice studio.
You would have so many little doodads and tools, though. That's what you would spend your money on.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You'd be like, look, I bought a laser that cuts wood.
I do like to experiment with stuff. I like to experiment with new products. I just don't usually have the money to buy new products, so I am forced into in marketing and in business. There is a concept known as the technology adoption curve.
Okay.
And it's a curve of people who look into new products, right? So you have the innovators, and they're like 2.5% of the population. And those are the people who are buying technology sight unseen, never have very limited knowledge about it because it's just launched, right? And they're the ones who start telling people about how good or bad the product is. Then you have the early adopters who have heard about this from this 2.5% innovators, and this makes up about 13.5% of people. These are the people who are standing in line for like the new iPhones, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Then you have the early majority, which make up about 34%, and the late majority, which make up about 34% as well. Those are the people who buy the product. It's been out for several months or a year or two now, depending on the actual cycle of the technology that we're talking about. And those are kind of the everyman. The people who have saved up the money to get it, and the product itself has been proven to be a good product. And like I said, they're either saving up their money to buy it or happen to come across it in some way. And then you have the laggards, which make up about 16%. And they are the people who don't like to change. They are, they've had the same phone for the last, 10 years. And the only reason they're upgrading is because it's no longer compatible with shit, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'd keep that phone for an eternity.
That's like the people who would come into my computer repair shop who would have flip phones. The older customers who would have flip phones and be like, my granddaughter got me this touch screen and I hate it. I just want my flip phone back.
Yeah, exactly. So as far as it goes, if I had money, this was a long-winded way to say that if I had money, I would probably fit into the innovators and maybe the early part of the early adopters, because I would buy things that people have just been talking about or like are brand new on the market, and I'd love to play with that new technology.
You should just use all your money and make YouTube videos. Make YouTube videos reviewing new technology.
Oh, I mean, it's an idea. There's a lot of work that goes into that, though.
I mean, look at Review Tech USA. Have you ever watched him?
And I'm lazy.
I don't know. You say you're lazy, but you do a lot.
I do, but at the same time, like, I have to do the things that I'm really enjoying doing. And I think this partially comes down to the ADHD that. Oh, that's another thing that we scheduled out. He's gonna do a referral to get some actual proof of my ADHD, or see if I'm just an asshole who doesn't pay attention to things. which is verbatim what I said to him. I was like, yeah, I just want to do the test, that way we could see if I have ADHD or if I'm just an asshole. But
you can probably find the test online to take.
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to go through the proper channels just to, because if it is something that I can be proved to have, because the medication for that is a controlled substance. So, and I don't like taking medication unless I have to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want. What is it that they usually prescribe for that?
Adderall or Vyvanse.
Yeah. I don't necessarily want to take Adderall or Vyvanse unless it's going to make a marked difference in my everyday performance as a human being.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that's something.
Would you take it if you take the ADHD test and they find that you do have it? Will you take the meds?
Again, if it's going to make a marked difference in my performance, yes. If it's going to help me focus better and be more productive, that means the world to me. If I can sit down and do something that I kind of don't want to do, but I know that that'll help me in the long run, and I'm not getting distracted by YouTube or by some other project that I'm working on, if it'll help me stay focused and get the task done, then that all overall makes me more productive and makes me able to continue on doing the next thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The sooner I can get the one thing done, the sooner I can move on to the next thing. But I can't make my brain do that. It's constantly getting pulled in one direction or another, where I say, oh, well, I'm doing this right now, but there's this thing over here, and now I'm doing that for no reason. And even when I acknowledge it, I can't make myself do the separation of.
So you understand the struggle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I don't have actual proof that's ADD or just because I'm an asshole.
I'm leaning more towards you're an asshole.
Well, you've known me a long time, Brandon.
I've known you long enough to know that you're a real asshole.
Thanks, buddy. You're a true friend.
Speaking of technology and assholes, Remington.
Oh, God, please tell me you have a direct correlation between that.
No, I don't.
Oh, damn it.
No, it was very tenuous at best. It's about technology. It's not about assholes at all.
Okay, fair enough.
The Consumer Electronics show was this past week, I think.
It was indeed.
And one of the things that was shown was Razer's new Project Hazel. Have you seen this? An N95 mask?
I looked at a story about it. I skimmed through it and I kind of skipped it. So, by all means, go ahead.
It is an N95 mask that looks like something straight out of Cyberpunk. So it's black. It has the two breathing apparatuses on the side, the filters. Then the actual part where your face would be is clear, so people can read your lips while you're talking. It has smart pads that filter out at least 95% of airborne particles, has a transparent design, and it also has speakers for amplifying your voice. So you're walking around like Bane, pretty much.
That's really cool. That's really kind of nice. That's one of the big struggles that I had. I actually switched at work to a face shield.
Oh, really?
I did, yeah. Partially because we do get a lot of older people who are hard of hearing, and with the mask, they can't read your lips and they can't hear you. And I end up taking down my mask so they can see what I'm saying. And I'm not comfortable with that. So I had, when they were looking at ordering shirts and stuff, they also had face shields, and I decided that I was gonna rock the face shield.
Don't you feel super dorky wearing a face shield?
I'm a super dork anyway. I don't fucking care what I wear. It's whatever. In fact, I like the face shield more because you can see all the spittle that lands on it.
Uh-huh.
And to me, that's subliminal proof that that masks work.
Yeah.
They're not 100% by any stretch of the imagination, but hey, they're doing something.
They're blocking out all that spit. Plus, the face shields are good for actual facials, too.
For facials, why? What do you mean?
Like a facial? Like a porn-style facial?
Oh, ew, Brandon, I thought this is a Christian podcast.
This is a Christian Minecraft server, Remington.
Yeah, we don't talk about that here. I thought you were talking about, like, beauty facials.
Like going to the spa, putting cucumbers on your eyes, shit like that.
You're gross.
I'm a grosso.
You're a big gross boy.
But yeah, I just looked up Project Hazel again to see if I could find a price. Apparently right now it's just a concept. So there's no release date or anything for it.
Well, it's still cool. I mean, they're a little late, I guess. Now because now we have the vaccine, and of course I was watching something in order to get the kind of herd immunity that we would be hoping for. They say that an estimated like 75% of the US population would have to be inoculated.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I guess it's not too late to continue coming out with like new mass technologies, because obviously there are people that are not going to do it for whatever reason. But yeah, we're getting to the point where there's a little bit of a tail end of maybe something that's going to be priced a little high, but as far as your protection goes, you're going to pay whatever you feel is justified for something that will help to protect you.
If I was a millionaire, I would buy one of these N95 masks.
You would just buy one of them?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to...
I guess I'd buy one for my daughter as well.
I'm not going to say that they're going to be like $500 a piece. That seems a little extreme. I don't think that they'll be anywhere near that, but they might be 30, 40, 50 bucks.
Oh, the Razer masks?
Yeah.
No, fuck no. Those things are going to be hundreds.
You think so?
Did you see a picture of it?
No, I didn't. Hold on. Let me look.
Look up Project Hazel. It's got LED lights in it. It automatically lights up when you're in the dark.
Okay, maybe. Hold on. Let me look at the official YouTube video from Razer.
When the COVID-19 pandemic first hit, there was a massive global shortage.
All right, the first thing I notice about this video is that somebody really needs to work on their audio mastering, because that music is louder than his voice. But I digress.
Medical grade masks. To meet the urgent needs during this emergency, Razer quickly responded by manufacturing high-quality, certified medical-grade masks for the frontline workers. To date, we have donated more than 1 million masks globally. But now that we're well and truly settled into this new normal, we see the need for a face mask that is safe, social, and sustainable. Introducing Project Hazel, the world's smartest mask. For safety, the mask is classified as surgical N95 respirator, which provides a high fluid resistance that protects against droplets and splashes. Its active ventilation brings in cool air and releases heat produced from exhaling, which also prevents a build-up of CO2 in the mask. Aside from safety, we also looked how we could improve social interaction with the mask, as most designs cover the face and muffle your speech. Our smart mask has a clear, transparent design, which makes communicating easier, as others can now see you speak and pick up your facial cues. Thanks to a built-in mic and amplifier combo, our patent-pending voice amp technology ensures your speech isn't muffled even when you're masked up. The mask is waterproof.
That's one thing that I did kind of forget that you talked about, is it has a voice amplifier in it. So yeah, I mean, definitely it's going to be something that's more expensive than 50 or 60 bucks, just based on that time.
Yeah.
And scratch resistant, making it ideal for frequent use. And because it's made of recyclable plastic, this sustainable design greatly minimizes wastage as compared to disposable masks. A smart mask should also be super comfortable to wear. The silicone guard sits snugly around your face to prevent air leaking in and keeps the mask itself from touching or resting on your mouth so you can talk naturally. By designing this mask to be safe, social, sustainable, comfortable, and personalized, Project Hazel is our answer to what the world's smartest mask can be.
If it comes with that protective case that's around it too, that'll make it even more.
It has it has a case.
Yeah. Looks like nobody is even speculating yet on what an estimated retail price would be.
What would your guess be? My guess would be between $199 to $299.
You noted that you didn't realize that it came with a case. Here on Tech Radar, they said that the carry case for the mask also acts as a charging box and has a disinfecting UV light that promises to kill off any bacteria. So not only are you getting this...
I did read about that.
Okay. So not only are you getting the mask, but you're also getting this technology stuffed box that helps to keep it safe. So as far as it goes, I mean, I would even say more than a couple hundred maybe. We might be looking at between 200 and 500.
Yeah, I would say 300 might be a good bet.
Yeah, maybe.
Final answer.
Yeah. The RGB lighting on the mask will indicate low power levels or let you know when the filter needs replacing, though you can turn off the lighting if you prefer. It's also waterproof, scratch-proof, and face-fitting thanks to the silicone liner forms a seal to prevent rogue airflow, which will be great for reducing fog up on glasses. I mean, that's a game changer. If there is one thing that I hear most commonly about people wearing the mask, is that they can't fucking see anything.
Yeah. My glasses fog up all the time when I wear the mask.
Yeah. You know what will help you with that, though?
An N95 Project Hazel mask?
Well, no. Take a little bit of vegetable oil on a soft cloth and rub it into your glasses, and then just clean it off to where it's clear. That'll help to reduce the fog.
Huh. Mm-hmm. We got hints from Heloise over here.
Because you are putting... you're leaving behind microscopic bits of oil and water don't mix, so the fog dissipates faster.
That's good to know.
Or you can go buy like some of that stuff that prevents a mirror from fogging up when you're in the shower. Same concept.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of work though.
Right? Yeah, the mirror stuff is a little more designed for that, but you know, if you're in a pinch, the vegetable oil or some other kind of oil works all right.
Okay, so I will just rub vegetable oil on my eyes, is what you're saying?
Yeah, rub it right into your eyeballs.
Okay, and then my glasses, I won't need them because the vegetable oil will heal me?
Yeah, it'll act as a lens. And then if you need more clarity, you just put more oil in your eye.
So, okay, I'm doing it right now and it burns really badly. Should I apply more oil then?
No, to counteract the burn, you should drink bleach.
Oh, okay.
Because the burning bleach in your esophagus will counteract the burning in your eyes.
So it's I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah. Don't do any of that, people. I mean, it's fine to rub a little bit on your glasses, but don't put it in your eyes.
I don't know if you really had to clarify that, but just for the sake of...
I shouldn't. I genuinely don't care if you drink bleach. If you're that dumb, then
wow.
Let Darwin take over there.
See, our official Dueling Ogres lawyer is here, Remington. He just knocked on my door.
Uh-huh.
And he is shaking his head vigorously no.
Okay, well, you said it, not me.
Damn you. You hit me with the no takesies backsies rule.
I did. All right, let's see what else we got going on. In just one story of space news. Scientists have found a rocky super-Earth planet that has been spotted orbiting one of the Milky Way galaxy's oldest stars. They estimate the super-Earth to be about 10 billion years old.
Wow.
Astronomers in Hawaii say that the distant world is 1.5 times the size of Earth, but takes just half the time to orbit its star. That's due to the close proximity between the two, which also makes the planet extremely hot at its surface. Wait, did it skip some? Sorry, that last sentence threw me off because it looked like I was missing a bit, but I guess I'm not. In a study published this week, scientists estimate that the newly found planet, which orbits the star of TOI-561, is an astonishingly old 10 billion years. That's more than twice as old as the solar system itself, and nearly as ancient as the universe. So let that sink in for a second.
It's a planet that's like Earth that is nearly as old as the universe itself?
Yes. It's a super Earth planet, basically meaning that it's a rocky planet.
Oh, okay.
So like it's not a gas giant or anything. And it's about the size of Earth. It is older than our solar system by 2 times.
That is crazy.
And is almost as old as the universe itself.
What do you think the chances are that there are space babes on that planet are?
None, because the surface is an estimated 3,000 degrees.
Damn.
Yeah, it's very close to the star that it is orbiting.
Apparently, yeah. So there's no life there at all then.
No. But the interesting, well, none that we know of, none that we know that could survive those temperatures. But the interesting part is that it's quoted from the study lead author, Dr. Lauren Weiss. Its existence shows that the universe has been forming rocky planets almost since its inception 14 billion years ago. So, I mean, for a long time, they thought that primarily the early parts of the universe were just making either stars or gas giants, even in regard to planets, but mostly just stars. So this shows that maybe because ultimately the materials that come together to form planets and stuff are caused by the explosions of stars before it.
Yeah.
As a star grows older and it's running through its hydrogen fuel, as that stuff burns out and gets cooler, it merges with different elements and creates new structures. And then that explodes and that sends that debris through the universe. And then eventually all of that iron and other particulates coalesce into planets. That's where the term "we are all made of star stuff" comes from, right?
Right.
The TOI-561 star system lies roughly 280 light years from the Earth and contains 2 other known planets. Scientists at the University of Hawaii stumbled upon the third using telescopes at the Aloha State's W.M. Keck Observatory. Their observations show that the planet just takes 12 hours to complete a lap of its star and has an average surface temperature of over 1,700 degrees Celsius or 3,140 degrees Fahrenheit. This makes it...
Damn, 12 hours?
Yeah, just 12 hours. This makes it far too hot to host any form of life as we know it, according to a statement from the University of California, Riverside. The planet is a super-Earth defined as a rocky world with a mass that is between those of Earth and Neptune.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Did you see, speaking of this kind of stuff, what is it, the Voyager probe that took that picture of Uranus and now is
Listen,
like
that's something we don't talk about. There's still ongoing litigation behind that.
Really? Did you make a Uranus joke?
I did.
Classic rim. A classic rim bon mot.
Ah, look at my butthole. Look at my butthole.
God, that's the last thing some people have heard, isn't it? Look at my butthole. Look at my butthole.
Yes, right before I killed them and ate them.
New Horizon. New Horizon.
I like there was no
spacecraft.
reaction. Hold on. I like there was no reaction between me just saying killing them and eating them. You're just like, I'm just going to keep doing this research.
Yep, pretty much. I think everybody already knows that you kill and eat people.
Yeah, that's fair game. All right, so what was it again?
A previous measurement by Hubble Space Telescope suggested there were 2 trillion galaxies spread across the universe.
Okay.
Now the latest research points to only hundreds of billions of galaxies instead.
Oh, wow. That's a large margin of error.
Yeah.
Is it because they're blinking out of existence, or is it just somebody doesn't know how to do math?
We were basing it off of what the Hubble telescope gave us. And apparently they think that a lot of what the Hubble telescope was seeing was reflections.
Oh yeah.
And not actual galaxies.
That makes a lot of sense. We've really come to see, even in our reading stories, that there's a lot of reflectiveness in the universe.
Yeah.
So that definitely makes some sense.
So yeah, there's less in the universe than we thought.
Huh. That is kind of cool.
Still hundreds of billions of galaxies.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, still more than enough to prove that there's aliens.
Enough for there to be space babes somewhere in the universe.
Exactly.
I'm so fixated on space babes because I've had such little luck with women on Earth.
That you're hoping that somebody with some hot space babe with blue skin and 3 boobs is going to come down and take you away.
Yeah, I'm looking up to the stars for my future wife.
You just gotta look down on Earth, buddy. There's somebody for everybody. You just gotta get out there. You just gotta go see them. You gotta go poke them in the shoulder and say, hey, you, I like the cut of your jib.
Why are you turning into Jimmy Durante?
Cha-cha-cha, you just gotta go out there.
You just gotta look for the ladies. Cha-cha-cha.
You gotta tell them how beautiful they are. Tell them that you respect them.
Thanks, Jimmy. Our lawyer's giving me a big smile.
Tell them that it doesn't matter if they're in the kitchen or not.
Oh, okay. Lawyer shook his head again.
What? I said it doesn't matter. Or Jimmy did anyway. He's a little old-fashioned.
The lawyer's doing that thing where he points with one finger and then he wipes down it with the other to say no.
Okay. It took me a minute to visualize that. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it's hard for me to describe, but I'm doing it right now.
Uh-huh. I believe you. I believe that you're doing it right now.
Speaking of things I'm doing right now, Remington, do you know what a warty pig is?
A warty pig?
A warty pig.
A pig that has warts?
It's a specific type of pig.
Is it an ancient cave drawing?
Yes.
I did see that story too.
So all of my stories are stories that you decided to just cast off?
Yeah, I thought that they weren't good enough, but apparently they were.
I'll have you know that I spent a good hour researching last night.
Wow. I spent 20 minutes.
I know. So basically,
I guess
I'm the better podcaster.
Time will tell, and our avid listeners will let us know whose story was better down in the comments of anything that they want to comment on.
The world's oldest figurative cave art was found in Indonesia. 45,000 years old. Depicts a warty pig watching 2 other warty pigs.
So it's just like television now.
Thanks for the silence, you asshole.
So I was trying to craft my joke. So it's just like television now, where it's just pigs watching other pigs.
Pigs watching pigs. It's just pigs all the way to the goddamn ground.
Yeah. Can you imagine just the David Attenborough of that day? That's just sitting. He's sitting there. He's calling back to the guy behind him, kind of quietly, and he's like, "The warty pig sits just in front of his compatriots, staring intently as they wrestle to find who will get the grubworm." You know?
Yeah.
That was my terrible David. I haven't heard David Attenborough talk for a while, so bear with me on that interpretation.
The warty pig.
The warty pig.
Oi, the warty pig that now. I'm not going to do it.
Oh my god, can you imagine if Attenborough had just a thick Cockney accent? Life on our planet.
The male penguin sits on the eggs, isn't it?
Yes, exactly like that.
I was amazed at this story, though. 45,000 years old figurative art.
Oh yeah, no, that's insane. Because these early hominids were creating art, even though, I mean, granted, in roughly a 24-hour day, 8 hours of sleep, you're only going to do so much hunting and planting, and you're still going to have some downtime, right? Especially because you didn't have other things to take up your time. So
yeah,
creating a a drawn record of the things that you see. It's so damn fascinating to me that existed all the way back then.
Oh, I know that somebody's looking at pigs and being like, let's draw this pig.
Yeah, I'm going to recreate this with my hand. Yeah.
The picture was on the ceiling, and the pig itself is 6 feet long by 3.6 feet high.
Wow.
So it's a big warty pig.
Yeah. That
was the part of the story that got me.
That even begs the question is like, was he trying to draw it? He or she was trying to draw it true to life to what they saw, you know?
Yeah.
Does that give an estimation of how big that pig was that day that he saw?
And is it religious, you know? Was it like paint this before we go out on a hunt, or were they 45,000 years ago just creating art for the sake of creating art?
Or, you know, was it a teaching tool? You know, hey son, this is what a warty pig looks like. You're going to be looking for this. This has the best meat. You know, it could have been something more simple, more attuned to survival.
Yeah. It's crazy that it's on the ceiling too.
I don't know. I mean, if you think about it as a teaching tool, the idea of it being on the ceiling, like you're getting ready to go to bed and your son or daughter, or whoever you're taking out on the hunt is looking up wistfully, and that's what the last thing that they see when they go to bed, and then that helps to
is the warty pig,
and that helps to maintain that when they go to sleep, and the brain processes all that information. So now they know that that's the thing that they want to get because that has the best tasting stuff.
Yeah. See, whenever I tell people to think about my warty pig, I just get disgusted looks.
Well, yeah. You don't raise very good looking pigs, man. I'm sorry.
Hey.
I'm just telling it how it is.
I believe that's slander.
Is it? You know, they say that you always think that the thing that you helped create is the cutest thing.
Do they say that, really?
You can't be objective. I've seen some ugly babies in my time, but their parents are always like, oh, my kid is the cutest.
My little bean. And the baby looks like a fucking goblin.
Yes. Ah!
My favorite, and this is so petty, but my favorite is when somebody posts a picture of their really ugly baby, and then they post like, we sure make cute kids. I want to be like, nah.
Nah.
Not this time, champ.
Speaking of old ass shit, and this'll let's call it this'll be my last story. I have two other ones, but whatever.
Yeah, my stories are pretty much done anyway.
Science News reports that a 150 million year old shark fossil was discovered, and it is the largest of its time.
How big is it?
It's a really personal question, but in a new study, an international research team led by Sebastian Stumpf from the University of Vienna describes an exceptionally well-preserved skeleton of the ancient shark Asteracanthus. This extremely rare fossil find comes from the famous Stolnhoven limestones in Bavaria, which was formed in a tropical-subtropical lagoon landscape during the late Jurassic period about 150 million years ago. The almost complete skeleton shows that the Asteracanthus was 2.5 meters long, which translates to a little over 8 feet long in normal American measurements, which makes this ancient shark one of the largest of its time. So
that's a big-ass shark.
It is. And the thing that really, I mean, because, you know, we have other sharks that I think the great white, the average length of like a male great white shark is 11 to 13 feet, and females is 15 to 21 feet. So there are two things to kind of take away here. Number one, this just happens to be the largest shark fossil found.
Okay.
That's not to say that there weren't larger ones, but of this particular breed of Asteracanthus, that's the longest one that they found. Number one. Number two, go ahead.
I said that's a big ass shark, but in the back of my mind, I thought, man, 8 feet is not that big for a shark. I was just trying to be supportive. 8 feet is not that impressive.
You're a really good friend, Brandon.
No problem.
What's more interesting about this story is the fact that it is so well preserved. So, of course, we know that sharks, especially the most fossils that people find of them are teeth because they continually reproduce their teeth.
Right.
But they're cartilaginous species. So their bones and stuff are primarily cartilage. Since a lot of their bones are cartilaginous, that means that they'll degrade over time. So what's most interesting about this is how well preserved this skeleton is.
Is there a picture? Like, have you seen a picture of it?
No, there is no picture.
They didn't put a fucking picture?
This is Science Daily. They don't put pictures for anything. It's nothing but words. Nothing but words from these people. They just love to hear their
Science
voices.
Daily. What a bunch of narcissists.
Right? They gotta, if they want people to really be enjoying science, they gotta put pictures in there for the laymen who don't like to read.
Draw me a picture of a shark. Draw me a cartoon of a shark like tripping and falling into some ice.
Yeah.
Like, I want a shark slipping on a banana peel and falling into a vat of chemicals.
So the extremely rare preservation of fossil cartilaginous fish skeletons is therefore linked to very special conditions during fossilization and restricted to a few fossil-bearing localities only. The Solnhofen limestones in Bavaria, Germany, were formed during the late Jurassic period, about 150 million years ago, is a rare occurrence such as that. They are world-renowned for having produced skeletons of the small feathered dinosaur Archaeopteryx and have yielded numerous shark and ray skeletons recovered during excavations over the past 150 years. A new study published in the journal Papers in Paleontology and led by paleontologist Sebastian Stumpf from the University of Vienna presents the largest fossil shark skeleton that has ever been discovered in the Solnhofen limestones. The specimen is represented by an almost completely preserved skeleton of the extinct hybodontiform shark Asterocanthus, the total length of which was 2.5 meters in life, which made it a giant among Jurassic sharks, apparently.
What a puny shark.
What are you, little puny shark?
I'd like to punch that shark right in the snoot.
Yeah. So still, I mean, I thought it was interesting that it was just so well preserved. That was my big takeaway from this.
I feel like my stories are better than your stories.
Oh, yeah?
We'll let the listeners decide.
Well, fine. In Star Wars, I'm going to talk some Star Wars news just so I can wrap it up on something that's going to be better than yours.
Well, fine.
So, at Star Wars Stuff tweeted out, guys, Sabine Wren will reportedly make her live-action debut as Asoka, or in Asoka, and co-starring alongside Ahsoka Tano. So what makes this some big news is that Rosario Dawson liked the tweet.
Ooh.
Which obviously means that is 100% confirmation that Sabine Wren
clearly
will be in Ahsoka. So, have you watched Rebels?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Do you know who Sabine is?
No, I don't.
So Sabine was first introduced, at least to me, in Star Wars Rebels. She was recruited by Captain Hera Syndulla and Kanan Jarrus, the Jedi, to join the Rebel crew aboard the Ghost. She was initially part of the Imperial Academy of Mandalore. She was building weapons that would be used for she thought would be used for peace, and they ended up were used against her family. This is all stuff from Star Wars.fandom. You can go look it up, but just kind of giving Brandon some background and anybody else who hasn't seen it. Racked with guilt, Wren left Mandalore and was branded a traitor by the Empire and her mother, Ursa Wren, leader of the clan. She eventually comes across the Darksaber on Dathomir. She initially wants nothing to do with it, but is convinced to wield it and prove herself to be a uniting force for Mandalore and pulling them into the rebellion. So she ends up being a really cool character to start off with, and then a kind of a unifying force later on in the story. She's a really awesome character. You'd like her a lot.
And it's Sabine Wren?
Yeah, Sabine Wren.
Sabine.
Yeah.
I'll have to go on YouTube and look up some video clips of her.
Yeah. So, again, going back to the tweet and the actual story here, Star Wars is heading to an exciting place, especially on Disney Plus, where Star Wars The Mandalorian is getting a series of spin-offs, including one about Asoka Tano. The beloved character from Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels made her live-action debut last year when Rosario Dawson stepped into the role. There have been many rumors surrounding the new shows, and this week brought about the tease that Star Wars Ahsoka could follow the character in her quest to find Ezra Bridger and Thrawn after the events of Star Wars Rebels. That could also mean the return of fan-favorite character Sabine Wren. Turns out Dawson liked a post about Sabine's potential return, which is getting fans excited. And then, of course, I read the tweet there. During the Disney investor stream last month, Lucasfilm Kathleen Kennedy announced a slate of new Disney shows, including Ahsoka. The show is expected to tie in with both The Mandalorian and the upcoming Rangers of the New Republic.
Man, Disney is just pumping out this Star Wars stuff.
Pumping out all of it. Star Wars and Marvel both. I mean, we talked about that a bit last week, but it's really a double-edged sword because it kind of feels like they're just shoving this content down our throat, and it begs the question of how special will it continue to be? Can these shows stand on their own and be really special on their own, or is it just a formula that we're being fed that way we can have the proper entertainment nutrients to survive, right?
Yeah, and I think that's, I don't know. I mean, The Mandalorian is great.
That's what I've heard. In fact, I got yelled at by a customer because the last time she was in, I noticed that she had, I think it was a Kylo Ren ringtone. And we had a little discussion about why. She's like, yeah, Kylo Ren's my baby daddy. And I'm like, why do people find Adam Driver attractive? But I digress. And then she came in again, and I forgot that we had that conversation. And she was wearing a Grogu mask. And she was like, you need to watch The Mandalorian. And I was like, I know, I'm sorry.
Get Disney Plus. It's $6 a month.
I know. I need to. I do want to see it. I really do want to see it. I don't make it a priority.
Yeah.
We started watching there's a new show on BBC America called The Watch.
Okay.
I'm not going to say anything about it. I want you to go find a couple of trailers and watch it. There's only 2 episodes. The Watch, yep. There's only 2 episodes out. If you can find the episodes, by all means go watch them. I'm really kind of liking it. It's a little off the wall. It's based off of
Discworld.
It's based off of Terry Pratchett Discworld novels, yeah.
That's cool. I might have to check that out then.
Yeah, I feel like you'd probably really enjoy it.
Terry Pratchett is an author that I've never read, but that I've heard is really good, that I would enjoy.
Yeah. The guy playing the main character, his name is Richard Dormer, playing the character Sam Vines. His face is so fucking expressive. He plays this kind of drunk failure of a police officer. And in this world, I like how I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but I'm going to. In this world, crime is legal to an extent. So as long as they are, like, there's a bunch of different guilds, and the rule is you can't kill another guild member. You have to leave a calling card if somebody was robbed or assassinated or something like that. And that's what makes it legal.
Okay.
Because law is enacted by the guilds, not by actual law. So the main chief himself, Sam Vimes, he's just kind of an old grizzled drunk, and Richard Dormer's facial expressions in it are just so exaggerated. They're amazing. It's amazing just to watch him perform. I don't know if I even care about the rest of it, just watching him perform.
How far into it are you so far?
There's, like I said, there's only been 2 episodes released.
Okay.
And we're watching them as per people used to watch things.
Do you just have BBC as a channel, or do you have like a subscription to it?
No, we have BBC as a channel.
Oh, okay.
That's how we watch Doctor Who, and that's how we watch anything on there. Yep.
Cool. Well, I will check out the trailer.
All right. Good. Okay, I think that wraps us up this week.
Yeah, I think so.
If you have any questions or comments, or you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can call us at 978-DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737. Give us a call. We'll put you on the show.
Yeah, do a little collie poo.
Just leave a message. You don't have to talk to a real human being.
Yeah, it's just a message. It's just an answering machine. Don't be scared.
Yeah, don't be scared. It's fine. You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres, email us at duelingogres@gmail.com, or leave a comment on the Facebook page, or really anywhere else. I mean, we have an Instagram, stuff goes up there. We've got Twitter. You can leave a comment. I'll do my best to make sure that I check them all before we do the comment readings.
We don't have any comments on Facebook because our episode just went up.
Yeah, it pretty much just went up, I think 2 days ago, so nobody's had a chance to leave a comment yet.
Yeah.
So we'll get those on the next one, because I think we're going to get better about pumping them out. I think we're going to get back to doing once a week.
Hopefully, that would be nice.
Yeah, and maybe as we continue on, they'll get a little shorter. Right now, this one's going to be about as long as the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An extra special little treat for our listeners.
That's right. So in lieu of actual comments, I will go over our beautiful, wonderful, illustrious patrons. For those of you who don't know, we have a Patreon. You can head on over to that. And if you want to support this crazy little thing that we do, you can sign up and give us $1 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
$5 a month gets you early access to the 24-hour early access to the new episodes on the website. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a plus. Do that.
You can be talking about us before anybody else is.
You're going to be at the water cooler and you're going to be like, did you guys hear the new Dueling Ogres? And they're going to say, no, that hasn't come out yet.
And you're like, oh, that's right. I'm super special. And I have given them $5 of my hard-earned money to get early access. And I'm better than you plebeians.
And then you say, suck it, losers, and ride away on your motorcycle.
That's right. So thank you to our newest Patreon, Jenny James. We also have Ryan, Molly, Tatiana, Larry, Stephen Hines, Real Fat Tony, Heavy No More, Chad, and Bucky. I just name everybody because I love you all. We're not even supposed to get a shout out on $1 one, but I do it anyway because I love you.
You're not going to give them a shout out for $1?
No, that's just a free coffee one.
No, what?
Yeah,
you got to give everybody a shout out.
Dude, you don't even know because you didn't even set it up, bro.
I know. I'm still nonplussed.
You're still nonplussed. So we currently have 4 different tiers. We have the Grazie Bella tier, which is $1 a month. It reads, well, you're the sweetest little thing ever. This tier gets our most sincere and heartfelt thanks for being kind enough to support us. The $3 tier is And I Helped. This tier gets you a once per podcast personal shout out on the show for your patronage, as well as a spot on the credits on each and every live stream if we do them, just to let those other SOBs know that you love us more than they do. The My Special Friend tier gets everything beforehand, as well as newly edited episodes before they're released on our website. You also receive 10% off using a special promo code for the Dueling Ogres store. And the final tier is This Love That I'm Feeling, which starts off at $10 a month and gives you a 15% discount on anything on the Dueling Ogres store.
So you give us money to give us more money.
But we give you some of that money back.
Exactly.
Or if you just want to support us one time, you can just go buy something off the store.
Yeah, we have all kinds of cool stuff on there. Also, we did have a comment on YouTube, Remington.
Oh, yes. Yes, we did.
From Blutonian.
Mm-hmm.
Who says, why move the PC parts? For the lulz, man.
For the lulz.
As far as the Elder Scrolls lore, if you are curious, the Numidian is so strong because it is powered by the heart of a god. Also, the events all happening is known as a dragon break. It's where an event is so powerful it causes multiple realities to all exist at the same time.
Well.
So Blutonian knows more about Elder Scrolls lore than I do, apparently.
That's awesome.
Because
Thanks,
I could not
Blue.
remember the names. Yeah, thank you.
I'm glad to hear from you again. It's been a while since he and I have talked. He's in the Discord. I just never see him anymore.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're still listening, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the listens to everybody. To every single one of you, I would kiss you on the mouth.
He will, too. He's getting real desperate.
Well, okay then.
I'm sorry. I'm just having a little laugh at your expense, mate.
Just having a little bit of fun.
Just having a little jab at you. And
I'll
finally,
have a little jab at you.
make sure to subscribe on our website at duelingogres.com for news, shows, and articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news. And finally, be sure to leave us a 5-star review on the iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio, anywhere you can find a podcast. If you're watching or listening on YouTube, hit that subscribe and ring that bell. That way you get notifications as well. So until next week, Ogres, keep your clubs blunt.
And your tusks sharp.
Good night.
Good night.
Say good night again.
Good night.
Say it one more time.
Good night.
Thank you. Every time you said it, it kind of clipped out a little bit, so.
Good night.
Okay. We have started with the recording.
All right. For real this time.
For real, not for play.
I feel like we've made that joke 30,000 times at this point.
The real, not play?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the first time I heard that was on, it should not be locked for editing. Oh my god. Fucking mook. I don't know why I'm having that problem.
Oh, the script?
Yeah, so weird. Just save over it. Fine, I'll put it on the desktop, and then I'll move the one from the desktop and delete the one in here.
Sneaky.
Okay. Shit-eating cock knocker. What kind of word do we want, Brandon?
What kind of what word?
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, and I will tell you what the word is. Oh, God. Have we used discombobulate before?
I don't know.
That's the word of the day on dictionary.com.
Discombobulated. Okay. That's what we'll go with then.
Discombobulated. Discombobulated. Hey!
Why?
This ganja got me all discombobulated. Just wait until you run into the elves that are Jamaican in my D&D campaign.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
They all sound exactly the same because I can only do one Jamaican accent.
Brandon, that's just gonna Jamaican me crazy.
All the elves sound the same. No.
They're all screaming in Jamaican, man. They don't know how to control the volume of their voices, man.
They only got one volume.
And it's loud. Hey! Jesus.
Oh, shit. It's hard to do a Jamaican accent quietly. I guess it's not as hard as I thought.
Yeah.
Jamaica has just loose nuclear weapons on West Virginia because of that accent.
Yeah, 100%.
Who do they think they are?
Making fun of us, man. We are the proud Jamaicans.
Do we have listeners in Jamaica? Probably.
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know. If we do, we're sorry.
I hope they get a good chuckle out of this.
Yeah,
they will.
They will, because Jamaicans are fun-loving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're kind and gentle people.
They are. Hello, Ogres, and welcome. What?
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, fuck. You fucked me up.
Just do it again.
Okay.
Just do it again, man.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to... Shit.
All right, I will be silent.
Like making a Hold on.